Car sputtering is one of the issues you might encounter while driving that can raise a lot of concern. It's difficult to predict whether a car will reach its destination after starting. Even though it seems like a big problem, there are occasionally simple solutions to fix it. In this short video, we will cover the most common car sputtering causes. We will also show you some ways to fix the issue. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe and let's get started. Bad spark plugs. The need for a tune-up is the most frequent cause of the engine sputtering. One of the most crucial components to replace during a tune-up is a spark plug because they don't last forever. You might only get 30,000 miles out of them, depending on the type of spark plug you're using. Platinum and iridium plugs, however, can go 100,000 miles without needing to be replaced. In either case, carbon buildup can cause the plugs to become fouled and the engine to sputter, so you should check these components first. The engine may begin to misfire if not fixed. Clogged fuel filter. Sputtering may also be the result of a fuel system issue. There is a fuel filter in this system that needs to be replaced on a regular basis. It gradually fills up with the contaminants, dirt, and debris that it has trapped and kept from reaching the engine. But if the filter becomes clogged, the engine may run out of fuel and begin to sputter. Even if your gas gauge indicates that the tank is full, the motor will behave as if it isn't receiving fuel. Vacuum leak. There is an entire vacuum system supporting the engine's operation because it functions as an air pump. The engine won't have the vacuum it needs to run if any of the hoses or components leak or lose vacuum. Unmeasured air injection by the engine will lead to an incorrect air-fuel mixture. Once more, the engine experiences starvation and sputtering. Clogged fuel injectors. Another crucial part of the fuel system is the injectors. Their responsibility is to continuously spray fuel into the engine. The sensors and ECU decide how much fuel is injected. Fuel won't be able to flow properly if the fuel injectors get clogged or dirty. When the engine can't get enough fuel, it begins to sputter. Bad oxygen sensor. When the oxygen sensor malfunctions, the same outcomes take place. Any inaccurate information provided to the ECU can alter the mixture in the combustion chamber because this sensor is required to determine how much oxygen is coming from the exhaust. More air may be injected, which could result in a fuel shortage. The engine will sputter in the absence of fuel, just as it would if the car were out of gas. Bad fuel pump. Although it can break down, the fuel pump is not a component that needs to be replaced with routine maintenance. Any issue with the pump, which is required to transfer fuel from the tank to the engine, could starve the engine of fuel. If you let your tank get low on a regular basis and it starts to take in debris from the bottom, the pump may stop working. It may also fail merely as a result of getting old. Dirty or bad MAF sensor. To make sure there is enough air reaching the combustion chamber, the mass airflow sensor is in charge of monitoring all incoming air. It aids in achieving the ideal air-fuel ratio in the engine. The wrong mixture enters the engine if the MAF sensor is providing inaccurate data to the engine control unit. The engine starves and begins to sputter if the results result in less fuel being injected. Bad catalytic converter. The emissions system wouldn't function without the catalytic converter. But over time, especially if the air-fuel ratio is off, it can also become clogged. A clogged converter can cause a backup because the exhaust needs a clear path to exit the tailpipe. Your engine suffers when the exhaust is unable to exit. Up until the clog is cleared, you might experience sputtering and a lack of acceleration. How to fix? Here are some suggestions to get you started. Read the codes. Reading the DTCs is the first step in diagnosing any type of car problem. You can be sure that a code has been set in the computer if the check engine light is on. You can determine the meaning of the codes using your compatible scanner. Although there are many online trouble code libraries for your reference, they are not all simple to understand. Check spark plugs. You should inspect the spark plugs if you haven't changed them in a while. Here are some fundamental steps to think about. Visually inspect the spark plug after removing it. If it appears to be brand new, the plug is in working order. If it has some damages to the electrodes, it's better to replace it. You might be able to clean the plug of any carbon buildup. Use a wire brush and spray-on cleaner to clean the spark plug. To ascertain whether they require replacement, use a spark plug tester. When choosing a new set of spark plugs, you might prefer to upgrade to a set of platinum or iridium because these materials guarantee a longer lifespan. Clean the MAF sensor. You might be able to fix the MAF sensor if it's the source of the problem. Take these actions. Plug the sensor out. Make certain the ignition is turned off and the keys are not in the ignition. The engine must be cool before completing this step. Use a product made for the MAF sensor to clean the sensor. Totally dry the sensor and reinstall it. You might need to replace the sensor if cleaning didn't resolve the issue. Look for vacuum leaks. Finding a vacuum leak is not always simple, but there are some steps that might be helpful. Locate the vacuum connections and lines first. Your service manual contains a diagram. Check the lines and connection visually for any obvious problems. If there is a break or disconnect, you can quickly replace it. Use a torch made of propane to trace the lines without lighting it. You can identify your error if the idle increases. To check for leaks, you could also use carb cleaner, similar to how we did with the propane torch. Just be careful not to spray anything that could set a propane torch or cleaner on fire. Check fuel pressure. In order to determine how much fuel is flowing, use a fuel pressure tester. Your service manual will contain the correct specification because it varies by model. For instance, multi-port injection systems may display 60 psi while older throttle body systems may be fine with just 10 psi. Even identical cars from different model years can have differences. You must identify the source of the issue if there is a fuel pressure issue. You might only require changing the filter, or you might require a new pump. If not, you might be able to use an additive to clean the injectors and continue your journey. Contact a professional. Contact a professional if you are unable to resolve the issue or are unsure of how to fix the flaw. You should get the engine fixed as soon as you notice sputtering in it. Hope the information was helpful for you. If so, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.